Привет! So in today's video I'm going to be discussing the best country for spending crypto that no one really ever talks about. And maybe you can already guess where I am. Poyetele.
SAR Experience.
So I'm here in the provincial city, a secondary city, not the capital in this country, and just opened up Google Maps. And there's a good few results that come up for crypto. And that is something that's quite interesting. It's not just in the capital city in this country. It can even be in pretty small provincial cities, maybe with a population of less than 200,000, 300,000 that you're going to find a Bitcoin exchange on Google Maps. That's how transparent and normal it is here. And maybe, because they tried to speak to me in one of the local languages here, these kids, you're starting to figure out where I am. So let's go a little bit onwards and find a crypto exchange in this city. So I'm here in the center of the city in Southern Europe. And if you can see maybe my top and the flags here behind me, you're going to guess which country I'm in. I'm in a country that is not very often spoke about in terms of crypto, but when I look up the rankings, it's normally somewhere in the top 5 countries. In all these rankings I look up online about which countries are the most crypto friendly, where's crypto used the most, where is it legal. So you probably already guessed, since the flag is pretty well known worldwide at this point, I am in Ukraine. I'm in Odessa, on the shores of the Black Sea. I'm actually here right in the city center, as I said, and we've got a memorial here to the fallen Ukrainian soldiers. And obviously, on a more poignant note, it is still in the midst of the Russo-Ukrainian war. It's November 2023 when I'm shooting this video. And behind me, we have a crypto exchange. So right here in the city center of Odessa. And now I'm back here for a week or two. You know, I was here during the summer, now I'm back in the autumn a little bit. And I've started to see, crypto ATMs, crypto exchanges in the center of the city. And that is really interesting because it's not like you're going to have to go and exchange your crypto in some dodgy backstreet spot. Here it's open, transparent, it's legal and safe. I mean, we're here in the city center. As I said, you don't have to go somewhere where it's going to be sketchy. And most interesting for those who hold crypto. I have some clients who do hold crypto. It's not that many, actually, if I look at my clients in general, but some do. And they tell me about all these things because it's obviously pretty interesting to them. But to exchange crypto here, the commission, the fee is extremely small. Typically, at least from what I'm led to believe, is that you're going to pay at least 2 to 3% to exchange your crypto generally when you travel around the world. And I've heard in the US it can be like up to 8%. But here, it's probably going to be around 1%, maybe even less. It might be a little bit more, but the fees to exchange are extremely low. That's right. So that is why it's very attractive if you have a reason to be in Ukraine, probably. Not saying that, obviously, with the Russo-Ukraine war, there's the big caveat that there's a war going on here, and we do have Russian rocket attacks every so often, not every day, but probably about half the days at the moment. And if you are coming here, then you can spend your crypto and exchange it for cash and pay a very, very small commission, a lot less than you're going to see typically almost anywhere else in the world. So that is a reason to be excited about crypto in Ukraine. And actually, once this war is won and Ukraine is back in peacetime, it is in a very good position to become a leader, kind of crypto technological leader in the space, because they've already legalized it. It's become very common for Ukrainians themselves to hold crypto. And as you see, the commissions at the moment to exchange here are very low. So I think that's going to be a huge opportunity for Ukraine. And it seems the government is thinking that way with having legalized cryptocurrencies and setting up a structure around it. So pretty exciting it's something to look forward. It's not pretty optimistic, obviously, with the very difficult situation that the country has at the moment, but it is something to look forward to for post-war Ukraine, is the fact that they are positioning themselves with respect to cryptocurrency. So in spite of crypto being quite attractive here in Ukraine, Obviously, the country is not getting so many visitors, whether it's guys' relocation, or it's kind of a heyday for that with COVID and all the lockdowns in Western Europe, North America. Well, actually, it's across the world, but I got a lot of guys who came as clients looking to relocate here, 2, maybe 3 years ago, and now obviously with the Russo-Ukrainian war, there aren't so many guys who are thinking Ukraine is the place for me. Although I have to say, in the last few months, there has been a trickle of foreigners coming back here. Quite often, it's guys who had already spent time in Ukraine, maybe already owned a property, had some family here, or have some family here, hopefully still, or are helping, with the humanitarian effort, or maybe the military effort here in Ukraine. And obviously, this is a very difficult time for the country. And as you can see, I'm here in the center of Odessa in a nice park. We got the City Garden, actually is the name of it, and got beautiful weather for the autumn. We're obviously here, it's November 2023, you got music, people are walking around, it's a weekday, and life goes on, right? That's kind of my update, is that in spite of the difficult period and the obvious drawbacks to living in a country at war, the biggest war in Europe since World War II, most things work. It's not just crypto. Your credit cards work. I guess I should contrast that with Russia and probably Belarus. Also, they're not, just on the crypto point, they're also not going in the same direction as Ukraine on crypto. They're on the opposite. It's not really looking like it's going to be the place to go with your crypto in the future. But anyways, I tried to digress slightly there. But basically, if I contrast life here with, say, in 2021, things are almost normal, except for obviously we have a curfew from midnight to 5 a.m. We unfortunately still have many Russian rocket attacks and drone attacks here in Odessa. But if you're in a city far from the front line, statistically the chance of being in the wrong place at the wrong time is pretty low. Obviously touch wood, fingers crossed on that continues. But everything works, which is kind of a bit of a surprise to me, because when I had to evacuate with the war starting in February 2022.
Okay.
So this is the final morning in Chernovtsi. What beautiful sunshine to remember this beautiful historic city. And after 2 years of being in Ukraine, unfortunately it's time to leave. Not how I would have planned it, having headed to the border with this invasion. Fortunately, it hasn't affected this city so far, so I'll remain optimistic. One day in the future I'm going to come back here. I thought that everything would stop working, like there'd be no electricity, there'd be no mobile phone coverage, cards wouldn't work, there'd be no water, there'd be no heating. So we have had some problems sometimes with those amenities, but my life is almost the same outside of curfew and obviously air alerts and the occasional destruction by a rocket or a drone. And I'm not trying to dismiss or minimize the risk. There is obviously a significant risk compared to peacetime. But life goes on, and some guys are coming here. I was with a client earlier this week who had invested in some real estate in a very luxurious VIP building here on the seaside in Odessa, and we're sorting out some legal stuff with his purchase. He's actually renovating his apartment at the moment, getting it ready for summer 2024. And the kind of guys who are coming here obviously are not naive tourists or something like that. It's guys who have some experience in the region. So if you're one of those guys, or you are someone who hasn't been here and really intrigued to come, or you're looking to help Ukraine in some form, you're coming here with an NGO, or you're helping deliver supplies, humanitarian aid, also providing maybe something for the Ukrainian military, then down below is a link to my consulting service. Might be of interest to you. So currently I'm not bringing my in-person clients here to Ukraine with the Russo-Ukrainian war, but perhaps that will change in 2024. I'm going to remain optimistic that, fingers crossed, that the situation improves and it may be possible. So maybe that's of interest to you. And if so, then you should apply for the in-person experience with me. The application form is down below. Or maybe you're also interested in coming with me to one of the cities that I go to currently with my clients. They would be Almaty in Kazakhstan, Riga in Latvia. Actually also going to go to Vilnius in Lithuania with a client in a couple of weeks. Warsaw in Poland and Chisinau in Moldova. So they're the 4 cities. Well, now it's going to be a 5th city with Vilnius that I've been bringing clients to over the last, say, 16, 17 months with this Russo-Ukrainian war. I do not bring clients to Russia or to Belarus, but I do bring my clients to those other alternatives in the region that I'm referring to as New Europe. So that definitely excludes Russia for obvious reasons. And if you are interested in living this Czar experience with me, it is an experience that will be your first step to a new lifestyle here in this New Europe, this eastern part of Europe that is not part of the Russian Empire. And the reasons for coming here are things like more freedom, ironically, a little bit because obviously we have the situation with the Russo-Ukrainian war, and you won't have to worry about the other kind of wars that affect the West, the kind of culture wars, the wokeism. That's something that's not very prevalent here. So there are some of the reasons why guys relocate from places like, the US, Canada, maybe even over the Antipodes, in Australia, New Zealand, Latin America, and Western Europe. That's why they come to this region in general. So down below is an application form for the in-person experience. But first, especially if you're new to the channel, you should go and check out some playlists that I put together with some previous content that I produced. So, the first one is the cities. Just outline some of them. So you have crazy Chisinau in Mad Moldova. You got Riga. Few guys are going to the Black Sea here. We have the Baltic Sea. Absolutely fantastic, beautiful, smaller city than many of the other cities that I've brought my clients to in the past. We're going to have Wicked Warsaw, I think we'll call it, which is where a lot of Ukrainians have gone to with this war. A lot of Ukrainian women moved there, in particular also a lot of Belarusians. So Warsaw is becoming like the capital of this new Europe, the de facto capital of it, because you just have, in addition to the pretty Poles, you have the beautiful Belarusians and the cute Ukrainians, and it is really a pulsating city. And way over in the far extremities of Eastern Europe, in Central Asia, there is a little bit of Kazakhstan on the European continent, and they are in a lot of European organizations as well as Asian ones. So we go to Almaty, the almighty, really amazing city in terms of its beautiful nature. You've got lakes, mountains, canyons there, and lots of friendly Kazakhstanis. It's probably about 85% Asian in terms of its population, about 15% European. And you go to big cities like Almaty and Astana, and that is where I've been bringing my clients to as well, to Almaty. Absolutely amazing Almaty. Can't wait to get back there. Probably going there in December 2023 again. So those are the cities I bring my clients to. I'm going to focus on getting you set up there with a prospect maybe to spending 3 to 12 months a year, getting you integrated into a local social circle and going out and socializing, of course, with the uber beautiful of that particular city. And my second playlist, as a segue, is a set of tutorials about dating the 9s and 10s, the Olympian level of beauty in this region for which it is famed. And finally, we have a third playlist, which is my Vodka series, which has over 50 hours of content where I dive deep into the mentality of this region. So go check those out first before you take your shot, because there was a famous Canadian ice hockey legend, Wayne Gretzky, who has Polish, Belarusian, and Ukrainian origins. And he said, you miss 100% of shots, you don't take. So go ahead. These guys are trying to drown out me as I finish up this video. So crypto in Ukraine, hope that was of interest to you. And Slava Ukraini, Heroям Slava. See you in the next video. Do побачення. From Odessa Mama, Ukraine.
SAR Experience.